Hello everyone, and welcome back to this terribly exciting video, a double bill, where I put two wars together. And the reason I did this is because this first war, despite my own promises, I assigned myself only 3 fights, and one of them was trivial. In fact, well no, only one of them is truly trivial. So I thought I'd just chuck it in with the second war. I am starting out here with a classic team, Archangel and White Magneto with normal Magneto as well. I'm taking this Mojo on strike counter. I decide I will pop guidance because I think, give myself a bit of extra attack, because I'm a little bit worried about this fight because of course AA without the horseman ability is very RNG heavy, and if Mojo is also not cooperating and so on, this can be a bad time. But I think this is a pretty plain sailing fight. I decide not to play the strike counter here. I just go straight in, parry heavy. Now immediately he gets block hit, which is annoying. I get no bleed, which is also annoying, so this fight goes kind of badly to start with. Finally we get a bleed, and then we land on Neuros, so that's good. Now here he does get launch a special attack, and I decide to go for it anyway, because I think it's more important to dump the power, launch the special, stop him getting Furies, and land more Neuro stuff. And as you can see here, the fight's over. I just back away. I'm not even going to bother. So bad start, but it went fine. Very quick fight. And now our second fight is Nick Fury. I've taken him a few times this season, and you'll see me take him again going forward. Again, I think about, do I want to White Magneto here? And I think no, it's fine. I'll save it for other people going forward. And this is, of course, on the Power Focus 1 and Brute Force node, where I use my normal sort of turtling strategy whenever I fight this node, regardless of who's here. I like to sit there and hold block and either bait heavies or reparry. Now he is gaining Furies again here, but still that's fine. I can get a nice reparry, and those Neuros should kind of mitigate the Furies. Push myself to SP1, and here I don't launch it. Normally I would, but of course I'd like to save my power for the Nick Fury second life. And he's lost his first life immediately. He starts gaining Furies again because there is no longer a reduced ability accuracy. And sure enough, our SP1 lands a Neuro. So we're looking pretty good, taking some block damage, but that's fine. Still only got 1 Neuro, which is still annoying, but that's fine. And here I can do another heavy into SP1, and at this point the fight's over. So simple, he never threw a special. And that's my section 1, because people with their rank 4s take the various minis and such. And I'm splitting this next path in section 2, path 5, with someone else. And I'm just taking this first fight, which is Guillotine 2099. I think this is I think she's a sort of deceptively hard defender on this with this global, although she is hard countered by both Magneto and Nebula. Of course Magneto because he can't miss, so the global can trigger, her own miss can trigger, and none of it matters. And Nebula because she just completely shuts her down. But of course with Nebula you can't parry, and sometimes you can accidentally parry, and that can cause some issues. So I decided to go with Magneto, and I know that all I need to do really is get to SP3 and I win. And yeah, this is the fight I mentioned earlier as being pretty trivial. I decided to go with an invulnerability boost just in case I miss an intercept and she smacks me around. And I'm sort of initially thinking to myself, I don't really need to go for intercepts this early. I just need to gain some prowess and sort of push myself up to an SP3. I could just parry heavy forever, but I decide to build my power normally. I'm not quite sure why I did one hit and dash back there. I don't play this fight particularly well or strategically. I'm sort of vaguely aware that if she throws the SP1, see there I do more parry heavies and then I go back to combos. I don't really know why. I'm aware that if she throws the SP1, she can power drain me and that will slow me down. So maybe that's why I did parry heavies, to sort of push her away. And so now I'm thinking I now need to land an intercept, and of course she has an SP1, so I can't really do that properly. So I end up losing the prowess that I just built. I have to get her to push to SP2, get her to launch her SP2, and try again. So again, I've lost all that prowess. I don't know why I bothered holding heavy. Here I do get the Spectre, but it doesn't matter. Go for the intercept. She doesn't bite. Go again, probably. 2 hits, back off, hit. Yeah, there we go. Didn't give myself the Fury, but whatever. I did remove the prowess, the limitation, and I double my prowess twice, and this should end the fight. Yeah, nice and simple at the end of the day. And that was my war. So hopefully you see why I didn't bother uploading it, because it would have been a bit pointless. So now we're just going to jump straight into the second war of this double bill. So we are a couple of days later. Here I am taking more fights, thank goodness. And this is a slightly exciting war because I planned a boss rush. So I had 3 guys sort of storming straight up down one side of the map, going to the minis, taking down the global, while leaving one of the linked nodes up, so that some of the minis still had the global down taken down for them, so the rest of us could clear with a much easier map. And I guess I'm kind of part of that boss rush, because what I'm doing initially here is clearing node 23. I like AA for that fight against Nick Furies, so I decided to give that fight to myself. And here I'm taking path 6. Now, I initially wanted to use AA here, and then when I sort of went in, I've noticed that actually this Immortal A bomb that I was planning for is unduped, which means you can't use AA against him so easily. Yet you still can, but it's a big RNG fest, and you might just die to poisons before you land lots of Neros. But I thought about it, and I realised I can use Falcon. The only problem here with Falcon is that, of course, he's not poison immune, and you can therefore still take poisons on you when you parry his attacks. But when you have the locked on him, as now, you can't get poisons on you because that's a defensive ability. It's an offensive ability when he hits into your block. So I'm aware here that I really don't want to take any blocked hits, because I'll get a poison on me. Luckily at the beginning he was kind and didn't hit into me. He dashed away so I could get my locked on going. You absolutely can't push him to SP2 as well. That's a bad idea with a non-immune character. There I just managed to get in my big SP2 while the locked on was still on. And now it's just waiting for my locked on to come back while I try and bait his SP1. Here I decide just to go for it. Managed to avoid taking any blocked hits, so we're still on 100%. Here I go for 1, and luckily the 15% doesn't trigger. Throw the SP1 and he's down. So 50-second fight, finish on a full yellow bar. Went pretty well, but I suppose there's a chance that 15% could activate whenever he hits into your block, and that could go downhill. So I was a bit worried about that. Next we have an Annihilus, who, as long as you have White Magneto around, is nice and easy, because you can just ignore the main thing that makes him hard. I back out and go back in again just to make sure that the pre-fight has triggered, and I'm going to use AA. I think this should be another full yellow bar fight. It occurs to me now actually that the well, actually no, never mind. Yeah, nice easy parry heavy. I think eventually, like there, he does have that buff on you, that debuff on you, where if I had dash backed, he would go unstoppable. But as long as you're aware of that and don't dash back, it's fine. Here I take those blocked hits because I know it doesn't matter. And there, well, you know, he dies. Nice and simple. Now this next fight was I wasn't particularly worried about it, but it ended up being the most worrying fight of the war. So this is Hood on a sort of nothing node. So Ebb and Flow knocked down, and then right back at it means he's going to go debuff me when I knock him down. I would have used AA, but of course right back at it means I can't, so I'm still going to use Falcon. Falcon being a global champion, and therefore doesn't need to bother with Mystic Dispersion. Both forms, Mystic Dispersion and Mystic Dispersion. And here, I think I'd just go for a classic... where is it? A classic parry miss. There, or I dropped my block there. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but it did. And I've got those 2 things on me, which are ticking down, and at that point I'm thinking, damn, have I just lost this fight? Because I have in my head that Hood can sort of stun you when the timer goes down, but to be honest, I don't know Hood very well, and luckily I only take some damage. I might be thinking of the old Hood, to be honest, I still don't even know. Might be 2 crits, luckily when it wasn't a guaranteed crit because the locked on had fallen off, but we managed to get some power back from the boosts. I reapplied locked on, and at this stage I'm thinking the fight's back under control. I just need to... Oh, there, that was lucky. I wasn't paying attention to the protection, and when the protection comes back, he sheds the debuffs, and so he therefore shed my stun, but it worked out, so I got lucky there. This is just monitoring the knockdown and knowing that your parries won't land when after you've knocked him down. I could have used the White Magneto pre-fight, but I wanted the other 2 charges I'd remaining to go to other people later on in the war. So I didn't use them there, and that fight went fine-ish. And that was my last Falcon fight, so didn't really matter that took the block hits. Now I have to wait for my alliance mate to take down Mysterio with his rank 4 Spidey, which he does very ably. Just have to fast forward. And now I'm taking Nick Fury on node 23. Actually, it occurs to me now that... So I sort of vaguely thought, well, I'll use a White Magneto here because it's a little bit safer. I probably could have used it on that hood, but I do decide to use it here because occasionally, after you've parried, sometimes there's a bit of a delay. Sometimes you go for a parry heavy, and whether it's you or whether it's the game, you're sometimes a bit slow, and the White Magneto gives you just that little bit of extra time. So that's why I wanted to use it here, as just extra safety. And I actually do mess up a tiny bit in this fight. So I go for I managed to get a heavy throw here, and I like to alternate heavy with medium light. And for here, for some reason, I just go for another heavy. Luckily, he dashes in, and it's fine. Because I landed a parry, I can do a heavy there, but of course if he throws his heavy and my parry doesn't land, I have to go for medium light. And so I just decide, you know what, just focus on alternating heavy, followed by medium light. Don't even try and sort of monitor whether you've landed a parry or whether he's throwing his heavy. Just do medium light, followed by a heavy. I'm not going to dash in, I'm just going to wait. Whole block. There I... Very heavy. Luckily, I think the Neuro turns off the evade there, so again, I just got a bit confused. He unloads a full combo into me, but that's fine. Medium light followed by SP2. And now I'm thinking that's fine. Do a heavy. Whole block, wait for him to come in again. He's being a bit... he's throwing lots of hits into my block, and I am actually slowly getting cornered. So if he did that a lot, I guess you could get cornered in this fight, but luckily, it's not, you know, he's almost dead. So again, pretty simple, very similar to the previous Fury fight, just a bit more high stakes to be honest, and you've got to deal with the evade. But I think AA is fine for that fight. It always goes very quickly. And just before I went to sleep, I managed to save up enough energy. My last fight is a non-global fight, so I can just take it anyway. It's an Icarus on Rich Get Richer. I've been reliably informed by my alliance mates that this is a Spidey 2099 trap. Because you start taking loads of damage when you power drain him, but luckily I'd already assigned AA, so it didn't matter. As you can see, I'm only lightly boosting because it's just a pretty simple fight. I think to myself, oh, I'll chuck on an advanced power boost because I've got them expiring, and I might be able to use it in case I don't know, need it. Or I guess I think to myself, if I get that debuff on you, that means you have to use your specials. So I thought, yeah, I may as well. My main concern here was missing a parry, but luckily we're kind of on point, I think. Go straight into the SP1. Now, of course, it's Rich Get Richer, and I'm gaining power from the armor buff, which is very nice. There, I'm not sure why I don't do anything. I think I'm just a bit nervous from, I don't know, just now, late at night. I'm throwing our specials frequently here and landing some good Neuros, so not much to worry about. Energize, that's the name. He would have gotten energized there, but I prevented it. Throw my SP1, and yeah, I do decide to go in there, and I do get the power detonation on me, but at this stage it clearly doesn't matter, so I just back off and throw another heavy, and he's down. And that's this war done. So I'm sure you're all sitting there with bated breath waiting to hear the scores. Well, we died 4 times in both wars, and we lost the first one, which is pretty annoying, because we lost it was 4-4, and we lost on time. But the second war, we won very handily. 4 deaths was enough, which is great. So I'm really pleased with my group. Specifically my battle group, I think they died 2 times and then 1 time. So nice low numbers, actually performing like a proper Masters level alliance. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'll see you for these last 3 wars. Ta-ta.